Our first inductee is a person that I've known for 34 years, Joan Chamberlain. And the introduction is written by Judy Tobias. Judy is a former player when Joan was coaching here, women's volleyball. Also, Judy served a number of years as a head women's volleyball coach, and she is also currently in the HNES department as a faculty member. So, Joan, I'd like to read this to you, then we'll bring you up for your introduction. Judy writes, Joan Chamberlain has positively impacted the lives of many young women over a long period of time. Her impact has been felt by many of us well beyond the short years of actually playing the sport of volleyball on the teams that she coached. Joan demonstrated being a servant of Christ from the first day of volleyball camp throughout the season. She worked diligently in developing practices and encouraging players to be the best player and person they could be. Not only was Joan a coach, but also a teacher and mentor. Her diligence was evident in all aspects of the courses she taught. She provided students and volleyball players with an example of a strong work ethic, integrity, and fun mixed in. When we gather together and reminisce, primarily about volleyball, our conversations often center around the fun we had in the vans traveling to matches and the songs we sang. There's just no substitute for a good example, and Joan provided that for us. I'm very grateful for the impact she has had in my life and the road she paved for Messiah College volleyball. Congratulations, Joan.
It's truly an honor to be here tonight, along with these other inductees. Congratulations to each of you for your accomplishments as student athletes. No one coaches in a vacuum, so I'm thankful for each of the folks who supported me along the way. I'm thankful that Leighton Shoemaker believed enough in me to recommend me to start the intercollegiate volleyball program at Messiah. Leighton and I had been colleagues at Barrington College, where I also coached volleyball and among other sports, and of course, he coached soccer there. I'm grateful for the many colleagues here at Messiah: Jan, Retta, Bob, Jim, Doug, Jack, and the list goes on. Not to mention my many assistants, some of whom are here tonight. Each of those share their knowledge, insights, and support with me. I appreciate the alumni and the parents and friends of our players who followed us not only locally, but across the country to regular season and postseason matches and tournaments to places along the East Coast, from Massachusetts to Virginia to Illinois, Michigan, to NCCAA, National Christian College tournaments in the Midwest. We rewarded our loyal fans by playing our 2 postseason NCAA tournament matches in Pennsylvania, one at Julietta and the other at home. I'm also thankful for those women who coached me and served as role models as I started out teaching and coaching. In college at Wheaton, the only intercollegiate sport for women at that time was tennis. This, of course, was prior to Title IX, to NCAA, prior to AIW, so we had extramural teams. We practiced just like we were a varsity team, though we weren't recognized that way. We played other colleges and universities in the Midwest. In addition to small colleges like Wheaton, we played large schools like University of Iowa, Illinois, Southern Illinois, Northern Illinois, and basically whoever had a program for us to play. I'm thankful for Marilyn Scribner, Martha Baptista, Shirley Knopf, and Ruth Lee, all of whom were instrumental through my college years in modeling the integration of faith and sport and in sharing life lessons. These coaches instilled in me a true love for the game. And I would be remiss if I didn't thank all the players who believed in my coaching and worked with teammates through thick and thin to reach their goals. Thanks to each of you that are here tonight. When I arrived at Messiah, there were a few women who had previous experience, some in high school, some on the club team that had existed for 2 years, I believe, or in other sports, basketball and so forth. So it was exciting to me to be part of their growth and development. And there's 3 areas of growth that were particularly meaningful to me and that I'll share tonight. First of all, skill-wise. In the early years, we had a JV squad. Many started out there but they left Messiah as accomplished varsity players. Nowadays, players come to college knowing they want to play a sport. That was not necessarily true for us in the 70s or even in the 80s. One in particular, in our first player-coach conference, shared her dilemma. She wanted to be on the team, she thought, but that would mean missing out on trips to the mall with her floor mates. Thankfully, she chose the team. She worked really hard, and she left Messiah as a regular starter. I learned after the fact about another player who in the locker room after her first preseason camp said something like, okay, I can pass, I can set, I can spike. What do you do with them? How do they fit together? And that was the time where we thought we work on skills first and then we figure out how to put it together. That's not exactly the way we do it nowadays. Fortunately, coaches and teammates help players like her take those skills and understand the tactics and strategies that go with the sport. That particular player held several statistical records as a middle blocker for quite a while. I'm of course grateful to have players come to Messiah who had high school experience, even though it might have been just a year or two. Like the one who, prior to videotapes or DVDs, wrote to me over the summer saying something like, I'm coming to Messiah. I may only be 5'4", but don't count me out. I want to be on the volleyball team. She's here tonight. I believe I can help the team, she said in her letter, and she did help us. Then there were others who easily made the adjustment from high school to college ball. The program soon included players that received Middle Atlantic Conference, OSIDA, and NCAA regional, national, academic, and athletics honors. It's rewarding for me to know that many of my players went on to share their love for the game and impact lives through coaching or officiating. And some of those players coached teams that I coached against. So that was kind of fun too. Second area is development of the program itself. Prior to Messiah joining the NCAA, we were in the AIW, Association for Intercollegiate Athletics for Women. There was no NCAA participation for women at that time. We progressed from a 3-6 record my first year to years with 20, 24, 30, even 31 wins. Basically through the hard work and determination of the players. Through all my years at Messiah, Powerhouse Juniata was in our league. Many of those years we actually met them in the finals of the Middle Atlantic Conference. By the way, Juniata went undefeated through MAC play, not even losing a game for many years, and they consistently went on to be in the Final Four of the NCAA tournament, including this year. Yet our women always met those challenges, those challenging matches head on, always preparing to win. And some of the alums tonight will remember the night we did beat Juniata on our home court. And it's interesting to note that Messiah's overall volleyball record against Juniata is still 1-31. It was gratifying to see our women pull together and gain a berth in 2 NCAA tournaments in '83 and '85, earning the right to host one year. And when we started Messiah's first volleyball camp in the early '90s, it allowed local girls opportunity to develop skills prior to arriving on a college campus. And it also gave our players opportunity to develop their own skills as they taught and coached younger players. And finally, there's development of our players as women of God. That was important to me. Spiritual growth was a critical component of our time together. We spent many hours together, informally and in structured devotional times, as a group and in individual meetings focusing on spiritual matters. Special to me were those times when players would come up and talk during van and minibus trips. And at that time, the coaches did their own driving. Players were willing to give up time over the summer to travel to the Dominican Republic to share their love for God through volleyball. And it's been very rewarding to hear from alums through the years who have kept in touch and allowed us to share life experiences and transitions. It was truly a privilege to be part of so many young women's lives. Thank you again for this honor.